Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I am blessed.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you. I'm telling you, all the way from head to toe, y'all, head to toe,
Well,
killing it. And you know what? I just appreciate it. But when we talked this month, we said, look, we need to dive into some tips for self-care. I know
yeah.
I need it. And so please let us know, what are some things we need to be doing as the summer comes up and we get so much more active?
Yeah.
How do we make sure we maintain that balance?
Well, I think the first thing that we have to remember is to give ourselves grace, right? We are doing a lot, we're moving a lot, we have a lot going on, and sometimes we put ourselves on the back burner. So we got to give ourselves grace when we catch it and we're like, wait a minute, I have not put myself on the calendar in 2 months. Like, that can't happen. I'm going to get back into the groove. But that's really the biggest thing that I tell women all the time, is to put yourself on your calendar. When you look at your calendar every month, there should be self-care days that are spelled out just for you. Whether you have an activity that you want to do or not, there should just be blocks of time that are there. And part of the reason why it's so important to put it on the calendar is because the things that are there are the things that we prioritize, right? We're busy, our calendars kind of guide our lives. And so what's there, that becomes the priority. And when you decide that you're going to put yourself on your calendar and you're going to create that time, it puts you in a place of being able to better set that boundary around that time so that it really becomes a non-negotiable.
Yeah, this I'm definitely calendar driven,
Yeah.
and there are times where, if something happens and I don't book it right away, that's when I get quintuple booked like I am tomorrow. And I also realize too that sometimes there's I don't want to say a guilt, but it's like when I have the nothingness time, I'm like, should I be doing something right now? Should I be filling it with something else? And that's something that I have to really work on, is giving myself the space to say it's okay to just kind of lounge around, which those days are so few and far between right now. It's really insane. But there's also something that we have to break down in our minds about that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, our society says that we're on the go, and that's what success looks like. Success and productivity are running around, doing all the things, getting all the things done. We hear people talk about hustling and grinding and all of that. And we're starting to hear a little bit more about that soft life and that ease and that flow. And that's the place where you really want to be. You really want to be in a place of the soft life and ease and flow. So giving yourself permission to take your cape off. I'm not saving the world today. I'm not doing anything for anyone else today. I'm off. I'm out of office. I'm not doing it. It's not happening. Find somebody else. And saying that's okay. It's okay to do nothing and to pour back into yourself. That is the biggest flex, right? Like, that's the thing that's going to get you to your next level, is really taking time to do the things that you need to do just for you. And sometimes that's nothing, and that's okay.
Yeah, that part about it being okay. I got to wrap my head around that. It's always good for me to be able to be with the kids, be with my sons. And even though my 17-year-old, he has like his own agenda and calendar, right? But to just be able to, like I did this morning, just cuddle a little bit with my 9-year-old. Like, hey, let's just, he's watching Simpsons, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna, take a few minutes. Those moments are so precious. And, as so many things are going on, you realize that those are the things that kind of you reflect back on. Maybe it's not all the things you're doing out there for the world. It's sometimes the cherished moments that you're spending with family and with your kids. I think that for me is something that I'm really like, you know what? No, I need to have that. That's a part of the balance. But I will say too that, one of the things that I think is particular about summer, especially here in Washington, when we finally get the sun, we see a lot of families overpacking their calendar.
Yes.
And I just want you to be able to talk about that a bit too.
Yes. So, we get this like sun craze that happens where the sun comes out, and if you're watching this from someplace else, Seattle's got just a couple of months of like keeping it all the way good outside, right, where there's no rain. We know that it's going to be pretty nice all the time, and we do tend to pack the calendar. That's when everyone wants to have a family event. And that's when all of your friends want to get together and all of those things. And you look up at your calendar and it's a Saturday and you have 5 things to do and you're running from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, letting everybody know I'm only going to be here an hour. I can only stay 30 minutes. I can only do this other thing. And then the kid walks in and they're like, oh, my friend's got a party. And you're like, okay, now there's 5 things to do. And you find yourself taking those days that were meant for some downtime and you're exhausted at the end of it. You're exhausted. You were running from thing to thing to thing without even taking a beat to go, wait a minute, did I check in with myself? How am I feeling? What does my body feel like? What does my mind feel like? You know, am I tired? Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? All of those things. So we want to be really careful to look at our calendars and when we plan them out to make some good decisions around what we truly can do and still feel good at the end of that day and not be exhausted with all of these fun things, right? We did all this fun stuff, but now I'm exhausted and I don't have the energy to do anything the next day.
You know what people really say is, hey, I needed a vacation for my vacation. And I was like, when people first started saying that, I'm like, really? But I understand like what we do in vacation mode, we sometimes do in staycation mode when the sun comes out. And because, you know, you're in a new space and you want to see everything. We have to go to the museum. We have to do this. And you're trying to do so many different things that you actually overwork yourself during a vacation. So I really want people to hear from you too about how to properly plan for this time away so that they can also build in some of that relaxation during their vacation, right?
You know, I think one of the big things to remember when we start to chuck the calendar full of stuff, right? We're operating from a place of lack rather than a place of abundance, right? Lack tells us I have to do everything because I'm never coming back here. I may not get the opportunity to come back here. So we think we need to do everything there is to do in that city, in that country, you know, that we're visiting. When the reality is when you operate in abundance and you say, you know what, I'm going to do these 5 things. And when I come back the next time, I'll do the other things. That puts us in position to own that we are going to have the opportunity to do more. We don't have to pack it all in right now because we're afraid that we're not going to get to be here again, right? So we've got to remember that operating in that place of fear and that place of lack is what keeps us stuck. It keeps us burnt out and it keeps us in a place of really not being able to live the life we want to and feeling like we need a vacation from our life or a vacation from vacation.
No, that's a really great point right there. And I'll say lastly that one of the things that I suffer from is going until my body says no more. And I think that that's really, I mean, I don't want to say it's only Black women. I think anyone who is a high achiever, overworked kind of person, someone who wants to accomplish so many things, that's probably something we all experience. But, you know, our body will also tell us when it's time to chill.
Absolutely. You know, and your body telling you when it's time to chill, that's a late sign, everybody, right? Like that's not the early sign. That's the late sign that things are out of whack and they're not where they should be. Your earlier signs that your body is like, listen, it's time to go. That's that headache. Right? That's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I slept an extra hour, right? Your body's talking to you. When you get to the point of pure exhaustion, you have run your body down and you are now susceptible to disease, to colds, to viruses, things of that nature, because your body just doesn't have what it needs to refuel. So we have to be really careful, especially as women. The world tells us that we are on the go. We're with the kids, we're doing the house, we got the job, we have all the things going, the careers going. And if you are a high achiever, just like you said, you're an executive woman, you're doing your thing out here, killing it. You're also potentially killing your body if you're not taking the time to put yourself on your calendar, rest, rejuvenate, and relax.
Rasheeda, thank you for this. Every time you're here, it's like you're saying what I need to hear.
Yes, we all need to hear it. I think that these are just good reminders for life.
Yeah, they really are. Well, once again, Finesse Friday with Rasheeda Hatchett Media. Let the folks know how they connect with you. If they need a personal one-on-one session to get this download that you have to offer, let them know right there how they connect.
You can find me at RasheedaHatchettMedia.com. Head over to my website, get on my email list, get your Thursday tips. I send them out every Thursday. If you're an executive woman, you are looking to rest and recharge, join me in October at the Audacious Woman Retreat. We are going to have a great time in Orlando, Florida. So let's do it.
Oh, always on the move. Thank you so much for being with me today and every first Friday. I cherish these segments, so I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Oh.